Hi everyone! In this video we are going to discuss the Supplement B and the types of crime one has to be a victim of to qualify for a U visa. But first, as a reminder, this video should not be construed as creating an attorney-client relationship. This video was made for educational purposes only. If you want legal advice, speak to an attorney. Every case is different, so you need to make sure you're getting the best advice for you possible before proceeding with any action on your immigration case. Form Supplement B is arguably the most important form in a U visa petition because if you don't have a signed Supplement B, you cannot apply for a U visa. The Supplement B is typically filled out by an attorney or law enforcement agency. A police officer, a prosecutor, or a judge must sign the form, attesting that you were a victim of a crime, you suffered substantial mental or physical abuse, and you were helpful in the detection, investigation, and prosecution of the crime. The purpose of the form is to ensure that you really do qualify for a U visa. We are going to review the form together today so you understand what is in the form. I'm also going to use the form to teach you the different types of crimes you have to be a victim of to qualify for a U visa. Only certain crimes make you qualified for a U visa, not any and all crimes. It's important to understand this. Again, you can find this on USCIS's website. Here it is, Supplement B. All right, so part one, victim information. So this is information about you, the U visa petitioner. Alien number. That is the number associated with your immigration file, if you have one. A lot of people do not have immigration files. So if you don't have one, you would just write NA, which means not applicable. But if you're in removal proceedings, or if you've ever been detained by ICE, or if someone has ever filed an immigration application on your behalf, you have an A number. So you should find your A number if you don't know what it is off the top of your head, and you do know that you've had to go to court, or you got picked up by ICE one time, or you filed an application or someone filed it for you, you should have one of these. Okay, your last name, first name, middle name, other names, nicknames, maiden names, your date of birth, your gender that you identify with. I will say that if you do not identify with a non-binary gender, you can write which gender you do identify with out here. And you can also choose whichever gender you want as well. USCIS typically honors that. Okay, part two, agency information. This is the information about the entity that is going to sign your Supplement B. So if you are asking a police officer to sign this Supplement B for you, you would put the name of the police department here. And the name of the certifying official, that most of the time is the chief officer or head prosecutor or the judge, most of the time. But sometimes certain offices like police offices or prosecutors' offices, they will assign a specific person to review Supplement B requests and sign them. This is true for a lot of big cities or any place where there are a lot of immigrants. So there might be someone whose job it is to review Supplement Bs and sign them. So just call the police station, call the prosecutor's office and say, hey, who's gonna, sign this or review it and get that information. All right, and then the head of the certifying agency, again, this is the boss. This is the person over the agency. A lot of the times it is the same person who's going to sign the Supplement B, but sometimes it's not. So it's always good to double check that information. Here's the agency address. And then, the type of case. Was it a federal case? Was it a state case? Was it a local case? Is it ongoing, or has it been completed and the perpetrator's been convicted? And then, are you sending this to a judge, a police officer, or a prosecutor, or, somebody else? And then the case number, you can find this in the file or on the court record. And then FBI number or SID number, if applicable. Most of the time, this is not applicable, though. All right, criminal acts. Okay, so right here's the list of all the crimes that you, or that can, make you qualified for a U visa. It's not any and all crime. It's only certain crimes that will make you qualified for a U visa. So abduction, kidnapping, abusive sexual contact, we all know what that is. You should always check attempt. Attempt to commit any of the named crimes. Attempt is a crime. Someone attempting to, sexually abuse you is a crime. Someone attempting to abduct you is a crime. So always check attempt, in addition to the crime you were actually a victim of. Being held hostage, being held against your will. Blackmail, when someone demands payment or another benefit from you, in return for not revealing compromising or damaging information about you. Conspiracy to commit any of the named crimes. This happens when there are at least two people involved. Like, let's say 2 people blackmailed you, or 2 people tried to kidnap you. Then you could check that. Domestic violence. Extortion is when someone tries to get money from you by force or coercion. False imprisonment means it's basically when someone locks you up somewhere and you can't get out. Felonious assault. This is a big one. There are many types of definitions of assault based on the jurisdiction that you are in, based on the state that you live in. Some states require that you are physically touched for an assault to occur, while other states don't necessarily require you to be touched. Assault can be someone putting you in fear of being, physically touched and harmed. So felonious assault can be very complex. It is the most heavily litigated crime in the U visa world because of the varying definitions of assault across states. USCIS has denied a lot of U visa petitions who have chosen felonious assault as their qualifying crime. And the reason why USCIS denies those petitions is because they claim that the state crime that the person was a victim of did not rise to the level of felonious assault. So let's say you were a victim of simple assault as defined by your state law, and you weren't really injured. USCIS may, in their discretion, hold that your simple assault is not felonious assault. And then they'll say, and because it's not felonious assault, you therefore are not eligible for a U visa, and they'll deny your U visa petition. So if you are applying based on felonious assault, I recommend getting an immigration attorney because these cases can be very hard. Female genital mutilation, fraud, incest, involuntary servitude. This is like slavery, being held against your will and being forced to work. If you're checking this box, I would recommend you actually apply for the T visa, not the U visa. The T visa, they give a certain amount of those out every year, but they've never hit their quota. So there are plenty of T visas. So if you're checking this box, I would say stop. Don't apply for the U visa, apply for the T visa, and get a very experienced immigration attorney to help you with that. Okay, kidnapping is another one. Manslaughter and murder. Okay, manslaughter, there are different definitions of manslaughter depending on the state that you live in, but generally means you did kill someone, but you weren't planning to, or the perpetrator who killed someone, what wasn't meaning to, not you, the applicant. And then we all know what murder is, right? So you might be wondering, if I'm checking that I'm a victim of manslaughter or murder, then how can I apply for a U visa because I'm dead? And that is logical. You are correct. But obviously the victim can't apply for the U visa. However, there are other ways to be victimized by crimes, right? Sometimes the victim isn't the only one who's hurt by the crime. Sometimes their family members are hurt, and sometimes bystanders, like witnesses, are hurt. So you could try, like if you witnessed a murder, you could try to argue that because of the emotional distress you suffered as a result of being the witness or bystander witness to a murder, that you were a victim, for U visa purposes. And that, let's say you did help the police in the investigation. Let's say you saw the guy who murdered the person and you were the one helping. You could try to argue that you qualify for a U visa as a bystander witness. Those cases, I think, are very rare and they might be really hard to win. So if you want to do that, you should get an immigration attorney to help you. But then there's another way. You can apply based on these two, and that's called the indirect victim. An indirect victim is only available for family members. To be an indirect victim, you must be related to the person who was killed. And for crime victims who are age 21 or older, only their spouse and their children under 21 years of age can apply based on being indirect victims. And then if the victims were under the age of 21 when they were the victims of manslaughter or murder, then their parents, unmarried siblings under 18, spouses, and then their children under 21, they can be indirect victims. So that's why those two are on here. Obstruction of justice means that a perpetrator is interfering with the justice process, like intimidating witnesses, trying to not get people to cooperate with the police or prosecutor. Peonage, that's another type of slavery, but it's a debt bondage. You're a slave because you owe a debt. If you check this one, you need to be applying for the T visa. That's the trafficking visa. Okay, don't apply for the U visa. Apply for the T visa. Perjury, when someone lies under oath. Prostitution, rape, sexual assault, sexual exploitation. We all know what those are. Slave trade. If you're picking that, I would go with the T visa instead. The line for T visas isn't long. The line for U visas is very long. So if you can get a T visa, go for the T visa. Solicitation to commit any of the crimes. Solicitation occurs when someone tries to recruit a bad actor to commit a crime. Like you're asking someone to go commit a crime. That's solicitation. Stalking, torture, again, trafficking. If you're checking trafficking, you need to apply for the T visa. That's what I would recommend anyway. Unlawful criminal restraint, witness tampering, the act of trying to improperly influence or alter someone's testimony or prevent them from, testifying at all. So you will notice in this list that theft is not a crime. All right. If someone stole something from you, that's not going to get you a U visa. I see a lot of people who want to try to apply for a U visa because someone stole something. Nope, not going to cut it. If somebody, robbed from you and put a gun in your face, it was an armed robbery, you could have an argument for, I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. Felonious assault. So if there was a gun involved and you were threatened while you were being robbed, you could make an argument for that. But not just, oh, someone stole my cell phone out of my car. Like that's not going to cut it. Okay, provide the dates on which the criminal activity occurred. Make sure the dates are correct and they, correspond with what's in the police report and what's in the court records. The statutory citations, this just cites to the law that, that the perpetrator broke when they victimized you. You can find that in a police report or the court record if the case went to court. Did the criminal activity occur in the United States? Most of us are going to check yes. And then you put here where it happened. Extraterritorial jurisdiction statute. These are statutes that give the federal government the authority to prosecute people for crimes that they committed outside of the United States. A good example of that is a trafficking federal statute that allows federal prosecutors to go after American citizens who participate in human trafficking or the child sex slave trade in other parts of the world. So that's what that refers to. It probably will not be relevant to most of you. And, briefly describe the criminal activity being investigated and or prosecuted and the involvement. So this is where they would write, what happened to you, and more details about your victimization. Provide a description of any known or documented injuries. So like they would describe, if you had bruises or broken bones, they would put those here, or depression, or you had to go to counseling a lot, they would write that here for you. All right. And then these questions are just basic supplement B questions. Did you possess information concerning the criminal activity? Yes. Have you been helpful? Yes. Have you refused or failed to provide assistance reasonably requested in the investigation or prosecution of the criminal activity detailed above? Hopefully it's a no. And then here they would write, what you did. Like, oh, they came in to identify perpetrators. They came in for a lineup. They testified at trial. They were the ones who called us when the crime happened, and all that stuff. Okay, part 5, family members. There's this special question about if family members were the perpetrators. So this won't come up for a lot of you, but for some of you it may, especially if you were the victim of domestic violence. And sometimes even trafficking. Sometimes it's family members who are the perpetrators and who are abusing you. So if a perpetrator was a family member, they're going to check yes here and write your family member's name and their relationship and their involvement. Right, and then part 6, this is where the person hopefully signs it, certifying that, yeah, you were a victim, you had helpful information and you did help, and you help make your community safer. So yeah, there we go. That's the form.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have already filed your U-Visa petition, your journey is not over yet. There is a lot of information you need to know while your U-Visa petition is still pending, like your rights and responsibilities. Check out our ebook for U-Visa petitioners in the section below. It's a very detailed and understandable legal resource. It includes legal advice worth thousands of dollars for just $75. After your purchase, you will get the ebook emailed to you immediately, and you can take it with you wherever you go. All those burning questions you have, such as, what do I do if the federal government is taking too long to issue me BFD status? Or what happens if I divorce my spouse? Or I get married while my U-Visa petition is pending? Or what will happen with my removal case? Are all answered in this resource. Check it out. Thanks for watching and have a great day.